In AAA's controlled test, regular packing cubes used more space than rolling alone, not less. You've also been told packing cubes save space, but when both methods get tested against the same suitcase, one of those claims starts falling apart. By the end of this, you'll know exactly when to roll, when to fold, when regular packing cubes can actually use more space, and what gives you the most usable room overall. Start with what you're actually working against. For many major U.S. airlines, 22 by 14 by 9 inches is the familiar carry-on ceiling, wheels and handles included. American, Delta, and United all use that limit, though airline rules do vary, and American specifically requires your bag to fit its airport sizer, regardless of what the tag on your suitcase claims. Your bag's interior capacity doesn't matter to a gate agent holding that sizer. What matters is whether everything you own for this trip fits inside a box that size without you sitting on it to force the zipper. That's the actual problem every packing method is trying to solve, and the methods below aren't competing on neatness. They're competing on cubic inches. Method 1. Folding. You lay everything flat and stack it in layers, the way you were probably taught as a kid, and the way file folding advocates like organizing expert Marie Kondo still recommend for suitcases as well as closets. Kondo's case for folding isn't really a space argument at all. Her KonMari file fold method keeps every item visible in a vertical stack without unpacking the whole bag to find one shirt. And it's the same philosophy behind the capsule wardrobe approach AFAR sources recommend for travel, where every item has a defined place before it ever hits your bag. The weakness of folding isn't that folded clothes magically become larger. It's that broad, flat stacks can be harder to fit around the irregular spaces created by wheels, corners, and other items inside the suitcase. Structured pieces like blazers, stiff dress shirts, and tailored trousers are usually better candidates for folding when wrinkle control matters more than squeezing out every last inch. So folding isn't the method you're eliminating today. It's the method you'll end up using selectively on the minority of your wardrobe where wrinkle control outweighs raw space. Method 2. Rolling. You roll the same wardrobe into tight cylinders instead. The military-derived Ranger roll takes this furthest. You fold the bottom hem up before rolling to seal the bundle and eliminate extra fabric at each end, which is one reason AAA sources cite it alongside standard rolling in their packing research. A flight attendant interviewed by AFAR put the broader case for rolling plainly. Folded clothes packed flat waste valuable space that rolled clothes fill by settling into the crevices of your luggage, and rolling is better for wrinkle-prone fabric besides. A rolled cylinder flexes to fill oddly shaped gaps along a suitcase's curved interior. The corners and edges a flat stack simply can't reach. When AAA Club Alliance ran a controlled side-by-side test using an identical 21-inch carry-on and a matched wardrobe of business trip clothing, they compared rolling against standard packing cubes and compression packing cubes. Rolling got the entire wardrobe to fit, with a modest amount of room left over. The result from AAA proved something narrower than rolling beats folding. It showed that careful rolling was more space-efficient than putting those same rolled clothes into standard packing cubes. AFAR ran their own version of the rolling versus folding debate internally, and their conclusion wasn't that one method won outright. It was that a combination of the two worked best. Method 3. Regular packing cubes. And this is where most of what you've assumed about cubes stops holding up. The intuitive assumption is that cubes are simply an upgraded version of rolling. In AAA's actual test, that assumption breaks. Their standard, non-compression cubes took up more space than rolling alone did. Not less. More. Here's the cleanest way to say what's actually happening. A regular packing cube isn't really a compression device. It's luggage inside your luggage. It groups your clothes into a defined shape and keeps that shape contained, which is genuinely useful. It's exactly the case the Home Edits co-founders make for cubes. where Clea Shearer organizes by category and Joanna Teplin gives each outfit its own dedicated, color-coded cube. Both systems solve the "I can't find anything in this suitcase" problem extremely well. Brands like Eagle Creek, whose packet system essentially created the packing cube category, and Away, whose carry-ons now ship with integrated compression cubes built in, have built entire product lines around that organizational promise. Neither one, on its own, solves the "nothing else fits in this suitcase" problem. If you've ever bought a 5-pack of packing cubes, Eagle Creek, Away, doesn't matter the brand, expecting your suitcase to suddenly have more room in it, this is the moment that expectation runs directly into what a regular cube is actually built to do. Organize, not compress. If that surprised you, hit the like button. One method left, and it's not as simple a winner as you'd expect. Method 4. Compression cubes. A compression cube has 2 zippers instead of 1. The first closes the cube the same way a regular cube does. The second, the compression zipper, runs around the outside, and when you pull it, it cinches the cube down, reducing the space occupied by the clothing inside. In the AAA test, compression cubes were the winner by their measurement. They left the most spare, visible room of any method tried. But here's where the story gets more interesting. In 2026, the channel Emerald's Daily Carry ran a much more detailed test, 24 packing combinations, with remaining suitcase capacity measured using volume displacement rather than just eyeballing leftover room. Their result challenged the simple idea that compression automatically equals more usable space. As the compression zipper cinches the edges of the cube inward, the middle can bulge outward, turning what should be a neat rectangular block into something closer to a rounded football-like shape. The clothing inside genuinely gets smaller. What doesn't automatically follow is that all of that reduction becomes usable suitcase capacity. A rounded shape doesn't nest against the flat walls and corners of a rectangular suitcase, or fit cleanly into an overhead bin, the way a true rectangular block does. And some of the space you saved by compressing can end up lost again as awkward gaps around the cube instead. So compression cubes absolutely compress clothing. What isn't guaranteed is that all of that compression converts into more room for anything else. Soft, bulky garments generally give compression more material to work with than stiff or structured pieces. A puffer jacket or a heavy sweater will visibly shrink under a compression zipper in a way a blazer simply won't. That much holds up regardless of which volume measurement you trust. One thing worth noting before you repack: if you're running compression cubes through TSA screening, keeping your liquids in a separate, top-accessible pouch rather than buried inside a cube saves you the full unpack at the security checkpoint. That's less about space and more about not holding up the line. So where does that leave you, garment by garment? Pure organization, keeping a multi-city trip from turning into a daily repack, is what regular cubes are actually for. Filling the odd gaps a suitcase always has is what rolling does best. Bulky, soft clothing is where compression earns its keep, substantially shrinking the bundle itself. And maximum usable suitcase capacity depends on how well that compressed shape actually fits your specific bag, which isn't something any single method can promise you. The real winner here isn't rolling, and it isn't packing cubes. It's usable space, and shrinking your clothes doesn't automatically mean you've created more of it. Drop a comment and tell me where you land after seeing this. Team roll, team cubes, or team both? And if the regular cube's result surprised you, that's exactly the kind of packing claim this channel exists to check. Subscribe if you want the next one.